Namaste, angels. This is the weekly general reading for the period of August 1st through the 7th. I'm recording it early because I have plans this week, which really doesn't make sense because it's not like it's my first time having plans. I have plans a lot. Last week, I even had a big barbecue for my father on Saturday, and I still did it last week. So I don't know, but I was guided to do it this week because of my plans. So maybe they're going to be more interesting than usual. Speaking of week and time, we are in that energy of the Lion's Gate. I've been trying to explain over the past couple weeks what the Lion's Gate is, at least in terms of astrology. It is not some event that occurs on 8/8 every year. It is a period beginning usually around the end of July. Once the sun has entered Leo, that's why it's called the Lion's Gate, because the sun is in Leo at the time. And it's basically the point at which the Earth and the Sirius star system align. So Sirius rises on August 11th. I looked it up the other day. We'll be able to see her in the daylight. And I don't know. I think some of us started this journey and had a major awakening around 2015. So I've talked before. It's been a while, but I've talked before about like the times when they were major like awakenings, like global awakenings, and of course not everybody on the globe was awakened, but masses of people at the same time began to awaken. And 2015 was one of those years. 2015, the Lion's Gate was actually 888. And I think that somebody took that and ran with it and just, claimed that that's the day of the portal and that's not really how it works. It definitely is dependent upon Sirius for the most part. What else I want to tell you about this week? I guess that's it for now, and we'll talk some more at the end. So we're starting with the dice, and no sex and spend money. Spirit still says no. Party and dirty movie. Since this reading goes through the 7th, I'll probably talk more about it next week too, including the fact that there's actually a place called the Lion's Gate in Jerusalem. There's an actual Lion's Gate place with actual gates. Actual gates. With the cards, we're starting with the Rider-Waite deck and the Moon in reverse. Moon represents the planet Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Neptune is currently retrograde in Pisces, which it rules. Behind that, we also have the Fool in reverse. So 2 cards in reverse. The next one is upright. It's the 10 of Cups, so we'll stop there. These two together can be about confusion, something being misinterpreted or misunderstood. Maybe somebody feeling that they were... that somebody was like inconsiderate toward them, didn't think about them, that they were slighted or disrespected somehow, and it's because they're not clear about something. What else can these mean? The Fool by itself can be about just really being independent, and particularly in love, it can get in the way because it's like your need for independence sort of blocks your love life. So like if you're so independent that and you're single and you're so independent that you can't meet somebody, or that you intimidate people because they feel like you'll have no room for them in your life, or you actually have a mate, a partner, a love interest, and you're literally not like finding time for them and not making room for them, not allowing them to feel desired or needed or even wanted because you got everything covered on your own, or you're out there living like you're single when you're coupled. Moon in reverse by itself can mean some of the things that I talked about already in terms of confusion, misunderstanding, easily for a situation to pop off, maybe wrongfully so. You'd be mistaken if you just go off on somebody. So if there is a situation that you feel is brewing, try to get some information first before you just, make a presumption, assume something. With the, I just pulled out my fortune I meant to pull out those little Asian cards because I've been looking at a lot of Chinese astrology over the past couple of days, but I guess I wasn't meant to. I went for those and I ended up pulling out my fortune teller oracle, which is these. We're starting with Star. Hard times are over. Look forward to an abundance of happiness, enthusiasm, and positivity. Speaking of abundance, I did a reading, an abundance reading yesterday, along with the playing of some chants to Lord Shiva. So some of you may be interested in that. Get the vibration, get the messages from the cards, all that. Just going to note that we're opening to the devil because we're starting with the devil here too. Take care immediately to avoid temptation and deceit. Could be tied to this confusion, and or to the partnership of the moon and the fool, because somebody could be feeling like sort of tied down and stuck when they want to be free and independent. Or somebody could be confused about whether another person is interested in them as a friend, as a romantic interest or something, because they're seeming like they just want to do their own thing and be by themselves. But it could be a misunderstanding. It could be something you need to talk about, especially if it's dealing with somebody like an Aquarius, which the star can represent. Star, the tarot represents the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarians are very, freedom-loving and independent people. That doesn't mean they're not interested in relationships. You could be misunderstanding from where they're coming and need to talk to them. Opening to Coffin. Natural endings abound. Take care with your health. More Star. And the Sun. Open your heart to the enormous growth ahead. What's this that popped up? It is the World. Be open to new possibilities in all areas of your life. I'm going to cut these. So our new overall energy here is marriage. You're attracting emotional fulfillment and unconditional love. Followed by Fire. Let go of emotional upheaval and embrace the renewal of the present. Right. Unity is the next card, but it's in reverse. I didn't shuffle these. Let's stick the Moon and the Fool in here. More Sun. More Aquarius, at least for me, with the card of Temperance. It represents the sign of Sagittarius traditionally in the tarot, but because of the water bearer on the front, I always associate it with Aquarius as well. And right now, that could be particularly true because Jupiter, Sagittarius' ruler, is located in Aquarius, retrograde. Two of Cups. That note I will cut. Overall energy is Justice in reverse, followed by the Lovers in reverse, the Page of Cups in reverse. And now, as I mentioned, starting with the Devil here, followed by the Magician, also upright. Devil represents the sign of Capricorn most directly. You may feel that you're trapped in your situation, but that's not true. Be careful not to overly focus on material wealth and break free of negative thinking. Followed by, there's magic in the air. You can manifest everything you need to be successful. The next card is the Page of Swords. It is in reverse. Page of Swords can represent that same Gemini that the Magician represents, as well as the signs of Libra, like our overall energy of Justice here, and Aquarius, which I've been talking about. we got. And it's that Magician. And he's back. Followed by the Magician. In reverse this time. But yeah, Magician. Again, Magician represents the sign of Gemini most directly. And it's about manifestation. There's magic in the air. You can manifest everything you need to be successful. It's about having all the, tools sort of in your toolbox that you need to manifest. You know how to work with crystals. You know how to, listen to chants and things like I said. I played with the Shiva video. You know how to increase your vibration by eating organic food. You can pull all these tools out. You know how to go around your house, smudging with sage or other things like that. And so that's how you're going to work on manifesting. We're going to start working first with the Rider-Waite cards. And those 3 cards that we had in reverse at the top, Justice, Major Arcana card, Justice. So this is karmic energy, right? Stronger than normal. Same thing with the Lovers, reverse also. And the Page of Cups in reverse. The 3 of them together. Oh, there's another one. It's the 8 of Pentacles, also in reverse. So, this can be about some situation involving dishonesty. Maybe, again, that's why the Devil's been popping up. That's possible. Dishonesty, some sort of like immaturity, probably like more so emotional immaturity versus, just being silly or something. Like looking at something very short-sighted or one-sided, lacking perspective, disappointment. These are things that can be connected to these cards. And just like even an unwillingness to work on it. So unaccountability, let's see where that takes us, if anywhere, any of those things. We are going to pull the first card, and it's going to represent us, like the card that most directly will resonate with us over the week, the energy, more so. And that's the 9 of Pentacles. Speaking of being independent. Surrounding energy, close friends, family members, co-workers. 6 of Cups in reverse. Work and finance, Ace of Wands in reverse. Love and relationship, Queen of Cups, also in reverse. Physical health, 9 of Swords in reverse. And lastly, spiritual health, nice, Empress, upright. Oop. Let's see if we're in frame. Cool. I want to see if I can fix this light though. Just give me a second. Is that better? I think it might be better for me. I don't know if it's better for you guys. I hope it is. All right, let's get started with Justice in reverse, our overall energy. So this card showing up can mean that this week we might be feeling like something's happening in our life that isn't really fair, that is unjust, essentially. And we might be right, that could be true. But because, again, this is karmic energy, as I just mentioned, there's not, well, I don't want to say there's not much we can do about it, because what we can do about it is what is in our power to do is manifest what we do want in our life. We might not be able to do anything about the fact that this is happening, so we can't control that karmic energy, but we can control how we respond to it, and how we respond to it can be with positive energy and with things that work based on the law of attraction and focused intention of being counteracted and counteracting whatever it is we're unhappy with. So one thing can be going not so well, but maybe we'll focus more on something else and have that go fabulous, and that will balance everything out. Also, like I said, it really can be about just the laws of cause and effect. Not everything that we're dealing with, though, is a result or a direct result of our actions or karma, though. So, and that's what the thing about karmic energy. Sometimes we, are forced to deal with the results of someone else's actions. Maybe someone that, close to us that we care about. Maybe our ancestors. Sometimes you ever heard of generational curses and things that are passed down, karma from past lives and all this other stuff. Not everybody believes in that, but I do, and it's a thing as far as I'm concerned. So that can be with what we're dealing with. So it may not make sense here because in this lifetime, or in our life, because you might say, I'm a great person. I've been doing this, doing that, and it's really the cause of someone that's attached to you or some energy that's attached to you. When it's in reverse, though, more so than when it's upright, whoever's sending us the message, our guides really want us to know that whether the issue is ours, directly as a result of some action of something of ours or not, don't blame ourselves. Don't take on that sort of negative energy of guilt and, resentment, regret, and whatever else may be attached to that. More straightforward, some of us may be dealing with legal issues, and, maybe you don't feel like that situation is fair or that it's going in your favor this week. But again, with the two magicians, I'd say even if that's the case, there's a chance of turning that around, to where you will be successful, or at least it'll be balanced. You'll get some, you win some, you lose some, as they say. All right, so moving on to the card that most directly represents us this week, the Nine of Pentacles. This is a card of happiness and success. So again, there's an opportunity for success. There's an opportunity to win here. And, this can be in terms of, like the everyday stuff, just everyday life, just going well, or something in particular. And it really wants us to know that we have a lot to be proud of, we have a lot to be hopeful about, and that we should expect the best to happen in any and all situations in which we're dealing. So again, that goes toward the the law of attraction and the focused intention and the keeping of the positive thoughts. We will be in a position to help those less fortunate than ourselves, very likely. And if you are put in that position, you should take the opportunity, because that too is part of the flow of prosperity, so to speak. We should also pay attention to not only our material abundance, but like spiritual or emotional abundance that, and rewards that come to us from, our actions. Moving on to, I want to move on. Moving on to, maybe we'll come back to the Nine of Pentacles. I thought I wanted to say something else, but not really. The Six of Cups in reverse. So this one also tells us to stay focused on like the present and the future, rather than getting stuck in like the good old days and things. And this can happen when we feel like something's not going well in our life, not fair. We'd be like, oh, back in the day, it would have been so great. It would have been like this, my best days are, were back then. They're behind me. I got like nothing to look forward to now. You are putting negativity into the air if you're thinking like that or speaking like that over yourself. So it tells us to live for today, and definitely to look toward the future, and also to be in the present. Can sometimes be connected with childhood. I always say for me, it's very, even though it's cups, so water, the suit of water or element of water, it's very Gemini. It gives siblings and family, to me like that. And this placement is about, our surrounding energy. So people around us could be that for sure your siblings or family members or children or your parents. This is also can be a soulmate card. And with love, it can tell us that we're probably going to start dealing soon with some issues that we've been avoiding for a long time with regard to love or our love life. So maybe putting the cards on the table, we've been sweeping stuff on the rug, conversations need to be had, or we need to address something about ourselves that's been preventing us from having successful relationships or something like that. It's going to come up and we're going to deal with it. Moving on to the Ace of Wands in reverse and work and finance. So this is, the Ace of Wands is a positive card. Shows that there are possibilities for at and for work. So if you're already employed, for things to get better for you, make some more money or something at work, or if you're unemployed, to find a job. You may have a good job already, but have maybe a boss or a supervisor that's an asshole. When this card comes up, because they can say that there's also some sort of downside, even though things are otherwise going well. Maybe that's the downside, or maybe it's really difficult for you to get there, or you're one of the people that has to go to work in person when your friends are on Zoom. There could be something like that, but otherwise work should be good. Or talked about confusions and misunderstandings and things that could be taking place at your office. There could be misunderstandings at work that make you feel as though, maybe like you're not valued, and that would be something that you're confused about. So again, don't jump to conclusions, make presumptions, assume. If you're having some sort of difficulty or, you're confused about something, ask questions, find out for sure. Don't just go off. Speaking about finances specifically, not necessarily tied to work, this card does say that we need to pay close attention to what we're doing with our money, and it's not really the time to take chances or to just, hand over responsibility to somebody else and expect them to, do what's best for us, make the right choices for us. If you are investing, there's nothing with this card that says not to invest, but it does remind you that there's no such thing as what they call a sure bet. So you need to pay attention and be careful, not just listen to the broker or whomever is making the bookie or whatever it is. Moving on to love and relationship. Queen of Cups in reverse says that the outlook is good on our love life, but we should stay focused on that maybe feminine side, nurturing side, loving side of our personality. And again, this can be about Neptune and Pisces, which is our truest, deepest emotions. The Queen of Cups can also actually be, a specific person in your life. Based on traditional tarot, most directly a Scorpio, but a Cancer or a Pisces as well. We have to remember when this card comes up, it wants us to remember that kind of true deep love that we may be feeling, maybe because of Neptune, or we may be acknowledging and facing, maybe because of Neptune, that we have for others, is supposed to also include consideration for them and an understanding that they may not be on the same timeline as us. Other people are on their own timeline, so it reminds us to be patient and not to be forceful. I've talked before about how the Queen of Cups in reverse and the Queen of Swords in reverse are very similar. They can both be people who love too hard to the point that they are pushy and they chase people away. So, of course that's what we want to try to avoid doing if we're interested in somebody. Nine of Swords in reverse for health says this is not the time to be embarrassed or about what could be going on with you or your body or something. If something's concerning you about your health, you definitely need to, talk to a doctor or whatever you consider to be a health professional, if it's a holistic practitioner or whatever it is, and get the help that you need, or the advice that you need, rather than, you know, like hiding. Sometimes we don't want to show something could be, you know, in a particular part of our body, and we don't want to show anybody. We're embarrassed, and so we just don't say anything. You know, you like that show, The Pimple Popper, and they have these people that allow these things to grow to be so ridiculously huge because they were afraid to, you know, go and show anybody or find out what it was. They didn't want to be told it was cancer or something, so instead they let it grow mass. Don't do that. Or this guides against that this week for sure. And last but not least, spirituality. The Empress upright says that it's going to be super, super important to listen carefully to our intuition. It may be trying to send us a message right now, and it could be to the extent that we have to like make some time to spend alone. Maybe that's why I've been guided to do the reading early. I may have to try to find some time for myself in the midst of everything else I'm doing. You know, the Empress represents the planet Venus, ruler of the signs of Libra, Taurus, Gemini. I'm a Gemini, so maybe I'll be one of the more affected people. Who knows? You know, just trying to give an example. And just really needing to maybe sit with ourselves so that we can hear, however we receive the message is trying to come through, because something is like fighting to get to us. And all the other things and people that normally are like fighting for our time or our energy will have to wait. It's important. This card is showing up to say it's going to be important to make yourself a priority, and then to not only like pay attention for any messages, but to heed them, or warnings. It could be warnings too that you receive. In either case, heed them, pay attention, follow them. Don't panic though. You know, it doesn't mean that something bad is going to happen or anything like that, but there's just something that you need to do. And it may just boil down to, again, you know, manifesting what we do want or we do need, as opposed to what may be happening in our life that seems unjust or unfair or unwarranted. There's just something that we should act upon. I don't know how else to really say it. And it could be really to our benefit to do it. I don't know if I should have used those words, because if I say it could be to our benefit, that sounds like you don't necessarily have to do it. And it's a very strong, like, please listen to this message that's coming through that I'm getting. A strong listen to this message. What else? Also, something could be going on with somebody's marriage too. A marriage may be coming to an end, or, you know, you could be trying to avoid it coming to an end. So we got this marriage card here with this other deck. This is the overall energy. We have Justice in reverse. We have in the placement of surrounding energy something going on with the family, maybe children. Then we got the Empress there. She is like the mother. This can be about like family court or something over the children, custody, child support, DNA, and that maybe, you know, breaks up or causes problems in a marriage. Or somebody could have already experienced that, and maybe that's why they're sort of looking back like, oh man, I wasted my life, the best is behind me. Again, we want to avoid that and move forward in a new way. Also, if you're in a relationship and the other person has experienced things that you haven't, or vice versa, you know, maybe you're not on the same page for that reason. You know, maybe one's been married, one's never been married, and so that's causing a problem. Again, it's important to remember with the showing up of this card that we're not all necessarily, you know, on the same page. We're not all necessarily on the same path, or, you know, moving at the same pace. And if we really genuinely love somebody, we should be willing to, you know, allow them to move at their pace and follow their path, walk their path, and not be trying to force them to get on to ours. All right, I'm going to add some cards to these. So beginning with the card the placement that most directly represents us this week, it's being joined by Chariot. Charge ahead with confidence. Stay strong and focused. So that focus message coming through again. Focus intentions, focus on the present, focus on getting accurate information and not making presumptions and jumping to conclusions, all those things. Surrounding energy, close friends, family, co-workers. We have Eagle. You will soar toward your destiny with greater clarity and strength. So we also talked about how this placement can mean that rather than getting lost in the past, we need to focus again and look at our present and toward our future. So if we can do that, we will soar toward our destiny. Work and finance, joining the Ace of Wands in reverse, we have a proposal. A romantic or business opportunity is indicated. And as I said, the Wands in reverse, Ace of Wands in reverse is a good indication of some sort of growth movement in work, whether that means at your existing or in your existing work for some sort of move upward, or in terms of getting a job. Either of those could come with some sort of proposal. I propose that you get a promotion. I propose that we hire you, if you're interested, that sort of thing. Love and relationship, joining the Queen of Cups. In reverse, we have love. How beautiful is that? Love surrounds all of your connections. Move forward positively in all areas of your life. So we don't have to be panicked and rushed and trying to push somebody or chase somebody to, the altar. It's about moving forward positively and again, calmly and from a place of love, and all will be well. Health, physical health. Beware, be careful who you trust at this time. Again, you don't want to go necessarily to just any old person. I did use the words, even if it's you're going to a holistic practitioner, make sure it's somebody that you trust, not just like a guru off the internet, telling them your problems, unless that's who you trust. It can be a holistic practitioner, or a doctor. And spiritual health. Joining the Empress, we have the Moon, which is another card that tells us to pay really close attention to our intuition. So they're doubling down that message. Pay attention to your intuition at this time and move ahead confidently. Moon in the tarot represents the planet Neptune in the sign of Pisces, as I mentioned before. Now, taking from these other cards, most directly representing us, we're going up from the Nine of Pentacles to the Ten of Pentacles. Contentment comes from knowing that your finances are secure and your family's material needs are taken care of. It's important to honor traditions and to have pride in your heritage and the accomplishments of your ancestors. So this is about a feeling of security, focus, stability, not worrying about stuff. Surrounding energy, Eight of Cups. You feel that there's more to life than what you're living, so it's time to move on. Maybe moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're being drawn to what would make you happy. Either way, you're in control. And we're moving on, again, from a situation that has been needing to be addressed for a long time, and or we're moving on maybe from family members or friends, or co-workers or somebody that, like I said, there's a need to divorce ourselves from these people for whatever reason, or from a situation. But if we do that, if we, again, just focus on our future and our present, rather than, trying to live in the past when maybe things were different, we'll be fine. Work and finance, we have Major Arcana card 4, the Emperor. This can be about a leadership position. This could, again, can be about you, making a promotion, you being the boss, the supervisor, or, getting hired for a new job. The Emperor for me can often be about like government agencies, large corporations, authority, father figure. So, again, you could be some sort of leader or boss or something like that. Or, as I mentioned before, maybe this is showing up because I said there could be a boss that's an asshole when that Ace of Wands shows up too. So, like, things could be going well at the job. But there's this one factor that's not so great. Structure and organization are important right now. Don't be afraid to take a leadership role, as you have much wisdom to offer. Major Arcana card 4, the Emperor most directly represents the planet Mars and the signs of Aries and Scorpio, which it rules. Speaking of Scorpio, that Queen of Cups there in the love position, you're not going to believe what the next card is. It's the Two of Cups. So at least our romantic lives should be going well this week, it looks like. Joining the Queen of Cups, we have love, and now the Two of Cups. You're falling in love or experiencing a deepening of emotion in your current relationship. Marriages or romantic partnerships in distress can still be saved. Don't give up. So those people that I said maybe talking divorce or talking some separation or again custody or something like that, even in those situations, some of them can be saved. If we put the cards on the table, maybe that's where the Six of Cups comes in. We're facing our issues this week. This is the second week in a row we had the Two of Cups in the placement of love and relationship. Physical health, joining Beware, we have Major Arcana card 12, the Hangman. It's called Awakening in this deck, but it's actually the Hangman. Similar to the moon, represents the planet Neptune and the sign of Pisces, which it rules. And this card can be about changing your mind sort of drastically about something you felt was wrong with you or going on with you health-wise. So maybe, similar to what I was just saying, rather than having cancer, you realize, learn, understand that you just have, a cyst that needs to be cut out or something like that. But again, that would probably be determined by you going to seek that medical attention. And last but not least, spiritual health, we have more Neptune, more Pisces. This is super interesting. The Seven of Cups. It's time to stop procrastinating and to make a decision so that you can move forward with a priority. If you need to do more research, then do so. But don't overthink the situation. Listen to your heart. So this is telling you to listen to your heart now in incorporation maybe with your intuition, because we had those two cards telling us to listen to our intuition. More traditionally, in terms of the tarot, traditional tarot meaning, this goes back more so toward the manifestation that we should be working on this week. And maybe that's why, again, we have to listen closely to these messages, receive them, and then we listen to our hearts too, our desires, what is it that we want, and then focus on those things and, use the manifestation, the law of attraction, because this is about like visualizing your desires, your dreams, your goals, those things you want, and using like positive affirmations and other things like manifestation, practices in order to make them come true. So it tells us to keep a positive attitude, and if like we need help in manifesting things, to reach out for it, or if we need guidance in how to go about doing this, then reach out for it, because there are a lot of positive like influences around us. And I would just say that maybe again, the reading that I just did on Lord Shiva, which is I incorporated the mantra to him. Maybe that will help, or something similar to that, can help you. Maybe you listen to some other music or tones or something, binaural tones that help you to get into a place where you're better able to meditate and focus, or whatever it is, whatever you need. Seek it is what this is the bottom line. It is out there for you. If you're just here to watch the cards, I do appreciate you coming. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment if you are interested in what I have to say about what else is going to be going on this week. Then I'm going to do that now. I'm about to sign into my computer. Here we go. So starting with the Christian calendar, this week we have on August 6th, the Transfiguration of the Lord. So we'll talk about that. What's up with that? Let's do that now. Transfiguration of the Lord. For this, I went to www.franciscanmedia.org. All three synoptic gospels tell the story of the Transfiguration. Matthew 17:1-8, Mark 9:2-9, and Luke 9:28-36. With remarkable agreement, all three place the event shortly after Peter's confession of faith that Jesus is the Messiah and Jesus' first prediction of his passion and death. Peter's eagerness to erect tents or booths on the spot suggests it occurred during the week-long Jewish Fest of Booths in the fall. I think the Feast of Booths is Sukkot, and it's also called the Feast of Tabernacles. Anyway, according to scripture scholars, in spite of the text's agreement, it is difficult to reconstruct the disciples' experience because the Gospels draw heavily on the Old Testament descriptions of Sinai's encounter with God and prophetic visions of the Son of Man. Certainly, Peter, James, and John had a glimpse of Jesus' divinity strong enough to strike fear into their hearts. Such an experience defies description, so they drew on familiar religious language to describe it, and certainly Jesus warned them that his glory and his suffering were to be inextricably connected, a theme that John highlights throughout his gospel. Tradition names Mount Tabor as the site of the revelation. A church first raised there in the 4th century was dedicated on August 6th. A feast in honor of the Transfiguration was celebrated in the Eastern Church from about that time. Western observance began in some localities about the 8th century. On July 22nd, which is 11, in the year 1456, Crusaders defeated the Turks at Belgrade. News of the victory reached Rome on August 6th, and Pope Callistus III placed the feast on the Roman calendar the following year. One of the Transfiguration accounts is read on the second Sunday of Lent each year, proclaiming Christ's divinity to the elect and the baptized alike. So there's a distinction here between the elect and the baptized. It says the elect and the baptized alike. So it shows that this group are all people that are followers and of similar beliefs, but not all of them are members of the elect. This is something that I've talked about many times too, although not recently. The gospel for the first Sunday of Lent, by contrast, is the story of the temptation in the desert, affirmation of Jesus' humanity. The two distinct but inseparable natures of the Lord were a subject of much theological argument at the beginning of the church's history. It remains hard for some believers to grasp. Okay, they don't even tell you what the hell the Transfiguration is. So yes, it is said to have occurred on Mount Tabor, and it was a revelation. Jesus invited only 3 of his disciples, Peter, James, and John, to join him on the mountain, and he began to like glow and shimmer where they could see that he was divine, that he was godlike. And Moses and Elijah showed up also. That's the Transfiguration. They didn't mention that at all, which is really bizarre. I'm sorry, I picked not necessarily a good place from which to read it. But that's the only thing on the Christian calendar. On the Jewish calendar, I don't think we had anything. No, we don't until next week. On the 9th, the Hebrew month of Elul begins. So we'll talk about that. Also on the 9th, which could really mean the 8th because it starts at sundown. Or do they mean the 9th at sundown? Looks like it is the 9th. On the Islamic calendar. So both of these events, the Hebrew month of Elul and the Muslim month of Muharram, both of these events are based on the moon and on 8/8. So 8/8 will still be special and in connection to the Lionsgate because 8/8 this year, although it's 8/8/5, not 8/8/8, is the day of the new moon in Leo. So it's still a special day. The August 9th, the following day, on the Muslim calendar is the New Year, basically, the Islamic New Year, and the start of the year 1443, or 444. And we'll talk about that some more next week. So moving on to the planetary calendar, 1st through 7th, we have what? On August 2nd at 7:43, Juno goes direct, the asteroid. It's currently retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius. So we'll go direct there. And that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's reading. I'll be back with love. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment so I can keep fighting this algorithm and the people that are trying to block me and cause me to be shadow banned. I appreciate it. Namaste.